This is going to be a Hall of Fame walk. You know, Kane, WWE legend, Hall of Famer, now mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs, as he's now known, has been called by Ric Flair the greatest big man in professional wrestling. Well, who better person to walk with than Kane? And as always, we are hydrated by Body Armor.
Man, I got you something too, though. So now you got your
Nice.
When you're on Rocky Top, you can wear this.
Oh,
right?
thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for joining the walk. And
Yeah,
3X,
man.
that's what I fit now. I used to be 6X, now I'm 3X.
There
so
you go.
I'm shrinking.
There you go. No, hey, man, nothing wrong with that. All right, so you weren't rocking the Dolphins jacket today.
Yeah.
You Dolphins fan?
Yeah, Miami Dolphin fan.
Nothing wrong with the Dolphins.
Doesn't go wrong with the Dolphins.
How's Tua and everything? How's all that going to work out?
He's been playing better. If he stays healthy, they have a chance. If not, they're done. Because they probably have the worst backup in the league.
How do you really feel about that, Frank?
He can't even hand the ball off. All right, so let's go for a nice little walk.
Sounds good.
But, beautiful socks. Yeah, I saw them. For my mind, the Attitude Era is the greatest era in the history of professional wrestling.
Sorry. You guys are awesome. You have Baby Yoda with a belt. If you can see, there you go. That's the sign of true fans right there, man. You're also a Mets guy, right?
Yes.
So what the differentiator between the Yankees and the Mets?
When I was 9 years old, Dwight Gooden was dominating, and that kind of got me to the Mets. So, and plus, the Mets are the people's team, the heart team. You know, Yankees are the elitist team.
So yeah, like the Yankees are Wall Street.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha. Yankees are Wall Street, the Mets are Main Street.
Yes.
So, you do realize that I'm a Cardinals fan, right?
Oh God, those '80s rivalries. Oh.
Yeah.
I tell you, the player, the athlete of all sports I hate the most is Vince Coleman.
Really?
Yes. Because his time on the Mets was so bad.
Yeah.
And it ended with him throwing firecrackers at a kid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yes.
It just, but I still hate the Cardinals for those '80s rivalries.
See, no offense, man, but to me, the Mets are always going to be Pond Scum.
Pond Scum, that was the name. That's what you all called us. Pond Scum. You know what's funny is Tommy Herr ended up playing with the Mets for a couple of years.
Well, Keith Hernandez too.
Oh yeah, Keith Hernandez.
You know.
Big Keith Hernandez fan, and he's a great announcer.
And then Carter played for the Mets, Daryl Carter, right? And then ended up catching for the Cardinals later, I think.
No, he never went to the Cardinals.
Did he not go to the Cardinals?
No.
Was it Kansas City and the Royals? I can't remember.
Oh, he went to the Dodgers after the Mets.
Okay. Pushing the limits of my sports knowledge there, man.
Well, wrestling, that's your knowledge. That's your base. And
yes.
The Attitude Era, to me, I think is the greatest era of professional wrestling.
Agreed.
Because it's just how creative it got. You were in you're battling WCW, losing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of your first gimmicks before you became Kane was the Fugazi Deisel.
Yes.
Probably one of the worst gimmicks of all time. It was like
I got settled with a couple bad ones there. Right.
Yeah, well, Dr. Yankem too.
Yes.
Dr. Yankem too.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament how great a wrestler and how great a performer you are. How many wrestlers get to survive two awful gimmicks?
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. The first time that I heard about the Isaac Yankem gimmick, I literally like, wait, you flew me up here from Knoxville, Tennessee to tell me I was going to be a wrestling dentist? A bit of a disconnect. But what it did do is allowed me to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
then-
that was the WWF, or what it was called back then, 1993. It's like everyone had a job. They had a hockey goon wearing a Devils jersey.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot more over the top as far as kind of cartoonish characters.
The Repo Man.
Yeah. And then that would really flip, though, when Austin took off.
Yeah.
And, they got away from all,
Well,
like again, the kind of the cartoonist stuff and really embraced the cutting edge stuff.
The Rock.
Yep.
The Rock is the guy whose career is, I think, mostly affected. If he debuted 10 years earlier.
Hey guys, hey, how are you guys doing? If we do it fast, sorry, we're on camera on airtime here.
Somebody take a picture. Nobody got their phone. Kane.
All right.
Oh my God, Kane.
You about to pass out.
Heineken on 140 on a Monday. I love it. Only New York.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You hop in
Yeah,
there,
let's go.
Frank.
Come on, Frank.
Do you guys know Frank from Barstool?
Yeah.
He's the man. Awesome. Thanks, fellas. Thanks, bud. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, man. All right. You guys take care. All right. Have a good one, buddy. Take care. Thank you all. Sorry, not today. Sorry, guys. All right, man. Will do. Hey, guys.
Mr. Mayor, I have to say, we've done a lot of walks. We've gotten recognized a lot. Never had everyone go to the desk.
That's
not-
funny. That's funny.
But yeah, the whole landscape changed because Rocky Maivia 10 years earlier would have been a fan favorite, but the fans hated him because they were
Right.
tired of the old
Right.
black and white, good guy, bad guy.
That's exactly right.
And the Attitude Era flipped that on its ear, where all of a sudden the heels were the fan favorites. And
Yep. Yeah.
I think that was the greatest thing that ever happened in professional wrestling.
Well, it was, and you were talking earlier about the Monday Night Wars and the fact that, we were losing. And if you're a fan, that was a great time period because it had all this cool stuff happening. When you were one of the guys, that was not a good time because whoever lost was out of a job. So it really did compel you to put forth the best product that you possibly could.
I got a question. Your debut as Kane, when you came out and ripped that steel door off, I'm sure you've probably done some house shows already, on national TV.
Not as Kane.
Did you expect the popularity, the longevity of that character?
Not the longevity, because who knows, right?
It was one of the great debuts.
Yeah, I think it's the greatest debut ever. And it wasn't me, that was just everything had been set up perfectly, right? Being immediately put into a storyline with The Undertaker, you realize that's a big deal. But I didn't think that it would go on for 30 years almost. So, yeah, that was a very pleasant surprise.
And what was your guys' working relationship like?
Mine and Taker's, oh great. He's one of my best friends from the wrestling business. We still keep in touch, and he. Remember one time someone was telling me that he was more concerned with me than he was himself. I remember something was not going well for me, and I was complaining about it, and Mark had already gone and talked to the writers and everything. So he's always a huge advocate of mine.
Now, one of the things that started happening is the regular appearances of Pete Rose.
Yes.
And it always seemed like he'd end up challenging you,
Yes.
and he ended up at the wrong end of a choke slam.
Yes. Yes. That's pretty much sums up our relationship. Yeah. Pete was awesome, and if he hadn't been should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, definitely he'd have been a great professional wrestler. He was a tremendous heel when he did the introduction at Boston right before my match with Undertaker. I mean, that was just him. He told the fans there he left tickets for Billy Buckner, but he couldn't bend over to pick him up. One of the greatest lines ever, right? And then Pete also
Had a great 75 World Series
Yeah.
against Boston.
and Pete didn't take himself over seriously or anything like that. He had a great self-deprecating sense of humor. Wasn't afraid to make fun.
But that was always
himself,
funny.
have fun.
Pete
Yeah.
always ended up on the wrong end of a choke slam.
And poor Pete, yeah, he would just show up one day and he'd get choke slammed, and that was the end of Pete for a year. So,
Now, who are the 5 best wrestlers you went against? The 5 strongest wrestlers?
oh man,
Would you say that your contemporaries? Because Ric Flair says that you are one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, especially one of the greatest big men.
Man, I was incredibly fortunate because I had so many matches with so many different wrestlers. So it's really hard for me to say. Obviously, Undertaker's at the very top of the list. But then you've also got Austin and The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, John Cena, even Bret Hart. So it's hard for me to say, these are the top folks, because it almost depends what day you catch me is who I'm going to tell you, right? But ultimately Undertaker has to top the list because he was so important for my career in general.
Yes, yeah, your rival and tag team partner was
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
read a lot that you were the physically strongest of all the big men.
I was pretty strong. However, you had people who weren't quite human, like Big Show and Mark Henry. So I was the strongest human, but I wasn't necessarily the strongest guy in WWE, because those guys are a little more than human, I think.
Who's the guy you would least want to fight in real life from your history?
Oh gosh. So Brock Lesnar, obviously, but Kurt Angle as well. I mean, Kurt was unbelievable grappler. He won the Olympics with a broken neck. He weighs like 215, 20 pounds, whatever, and he's going up against the heavyweights. Just unbelievable amateur wrestler. Now, of course, Brock with the MMA stuff, kind of more of the total package. But trust me, you don't want it to run into either of those guys in a dark alley. Trust me on that.
Now, where do you think the future for professional wrestling is at this stage? Where it seems like it now looks like the new regimes are fully taken over, Vince is out, and now we're going in new directions. Everything's going on Netflix next year, especially WWE. What do you think the future is?
That's a great question. Obviously, yeah, the merger with Endeavor is changed a lot of stuff. Backstage, from what I understand, more than anything, I've been really excited with Triple H as head of creative. He has one of the best wrestling minds, well, actually, the best wrestling mind of anybody I've ever seen. So, you look at NXT, and that was his creation. So I think the future is very bright. The model's changed now, and we used to be, we were traveling all the time and shows all the time. That's not as much nowadays.
Yeah, you guys never had an off day.
We didn't. It was like we didn't.
Yeah,
And now, this whole thing, obviously, just like with the other sports, it's become so much of a TV product. But you look at, on the business side, you look at WWE's revenues, and the company's never been more profitable. So it's very healthy. And I think on the entertainment side, with Paul Levesque as the creative driver, there's a lot of really good things going to happen in the future for the company.
Well, that sounds good. And of course, you're the mayor of Knox County now.
Yes, sir.
And Tennessee, they're having a great season.
They are. They have Vandy coming up. This is their next game. They win that game. Now, it's no pushover this year. Vandy's got a very good team.
Vandy's already beat Bama.
Damn it, they're bowl eligible themselves. So, but if Tennessee wins that game, and they should, they'll qualify for the playoffs and hopefully even get a home game, which would be amazing.
Well,
and we also can't forget, with Tony Vitello, they've easily got the best college baseball program in the country right now. Basketball is doing really well. Lady Vols just hired a new coach, Kim Caldwell. So
Kevin Nash actually played basketball.
He did, yes.
At the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, he sure did. he sure did.
One last question for you.
All right.
What was your favorite match you ever participated in?
So I have 3 favorite matches. When I beat Stone Cold Steve Austin to win the WWE Championship, then also the WrestleMania match against Undertaker, my first match against him, and then the Inferno match against Undertaker. So they're all kind of like within a year of one another, but those to me that was also like the best time for WWE.
The Inferno match.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thanks
Frank,
again.
thanks,
This was
man.
a big pleasure.
Thanks, buddy.
This
Appreciate
will
you,
be a
Frank.
great episode, and thanks again for joining us. And got to shout out Coach Doug's. He's the one who helped.
That's right.
Get this.
Coach
set up.
Doug's very successful UT football coach, by the way, led them 2 straight national championships. So now they're doing it on the field as well. So
Yes.
let's keep it up, right?
Yes.